Let's get into February 2026. This is a huge new beginning. The next 2 months are pivotal. We have Uranus turning direct, Saturn and Neptune meeting up at 0 degrees of Aries, a solar eclipse in Aquarius, and Mercury is going retrograde. So let's talk about what all of this means. February 1st, there is a full moon in Leo. It's all about culmination, fulfillment, something that has reached its peak in the area of life where you have the sign of Leo. But those of you who have personal planets from 10 to 15 degrees in Taurus, Scorpio, Leo, Aquarius will probably feel this full moon more intensely. Mars, Mercury, Venus opposing this full moon really signifies that we could be competitive, confrontational. There could be a lot of irritability, impulsiveness, tension between our needs and desires, a lot of confusing communication. We could also really be going after what it is that we want. The Sabian symbol for the full moon we are having in the beginning of February is an old sea captain rocking himself on a porch of his cottage. We are reflecting on growth. There is a lot of nostalgia, also a lot of adaptability to pivot to something new, celebrating and taking in our success, our inner growth, our resilience to a situation that we have dealt with. We have finished something off. We have grown, matured in this area. February 4th, Uranus is direct at 27 degrees of Taurus. Planets from 26 to 30 degrees of Taurus, you're going to have this conjunction, so something might be happening out of the blue. A lot of changes could be happening. Planets from 26 to 30 degrees in Scorpio, you will have the opposition, so there could be some new developments coming from other people. Unpredictable situations other people are putting you in. Leo, Aquarius, you will have the square. This will create a sudden situation where you have to do something about it. You have to react in some way. Uranus is now passing this degree point 3 times. So really pay attention if you have personal planets in these signs, in these degrees. The next 2 months could be very pivotal for you. Saturn is now re-entering the sign of Aries. On the 20th, Saturn will be conjuncting with Neptune. If you have personal planets from 0 to 5 degrees of Aries, Libra, Cancer, Capricorn, you will feel this most intensely. The last time that Saturn transited Aries was December 1996 to February of 1999, if you want to look back and see what was happening in your life. February 17th, we have a new moon solar eclipse. It's exactly at 28 degrees, almost 29 degrees of Aquarius. Those of you who have personal planets from 25 to 30 degrees of Leo or Aquarius will really feel this, as well as those of you who have very early degree planets in Virgo or Pisces, somewhere between 0 to 5 degrees or a very early degree Virgo Pisces rising. You may also feel this eclipse in a more intense way. If you want to look back to what was happening the last time this eclipse cycle was in action, it was 2008 and 2009, specifically February 7th of 2008, or even 2017, 2018. The themes that are going to start coming up now were playing out back then. What's interesting is this series of eclipses we are about to begin this summer when the North Node will be in Aquarius. Pluto is in Aquarius, so they could be a lot more intense. And with this eclipse, we have Mars that is sitting with the eclipse, bringing in a lot of anxiety, anger, also strength, determination. We could be aggressively pursuing our desires, or as with all eclipses, something happens out of the blue and it's something that requires our direct action. Uranus is also making a square to this eclipse, which brings a lot of unpredictability into this eclipse. Suppressed feelings can come out unexpectedly. That's how Uranus is. It's very cutting, it's very blunt, it's very straightforward. Irritation, anger, liberation, rebellion, unexpected changes, unexpected events. A lot of us will be very rebellious, letting it out. You know, those things that we want to say, but we hold back. Uranus comes along and it's just like, poof, you say exactly what it is that you really want to say. And other people may be doing that as well. So it's a very unpredictable eclipse, a lot of intensity. It's a solar eclipse. So really over the year, especially the next 6 months, a lot of things could be changing in the sign where you have Aquarius. Things may seem chaotic around the world and in your personal life, but this does mean there is a new beginning in this area of your life. If your birthday is in the second half of February, it can bring on a change of identity, looks, style, health, career, big life events unfolding. It's a solar eclipse, so something new is coming into your life. If you have late degree planets in Aquarius and Leo, and the first 5 degrees of Virgo and Pisces, you can feel things changing in your life. Say it's moon, it's a move, family, the birth of a child, marriage, Venus, new money, relationship developments, changing your looks, changing your style in some way. The eclipse degree, 28 degrees of Aquarius, Sabian symbol, a tree felled and sawed to ensure a supply of wood for the winter. So it talks about a transformation, a preparation, the making or going after some tangible results, using a skill to garner tangible results. The solar eclipse is happening in the Nishtha Nakshatra. If we're using Vedic sidereal astrology, it's 23 degrees of Capricorn to 6 degrees of Aquarius. Its symbol is a drum. It's the star of symphony. Also, it can mean the rich one. This nakshatra gives creative talent with music, fame, abundance. I actually see a lot of musicians, a lot of models, a lot of famous people have a personal planet in this nakshatra. And it's all about unleashing your talent. Basically, where we shine. We might finally recognize where we shine. This nakshatra is actually ruled by Mars. Mars is sitting with the eclipse. It's bridging the gap of Capricorn and Aquarius, structure, and a new spark of innovation. A new artistic vision for some of us. Here, it could actually play out as being at the right place at the right time, meeting and connecting with just the right people. It could also be the jack of all trades. You've got all these things that you do, but maybe this eclipse will shift your focus to focus on that one thing, to start putting your efforts in that one thing, and you could see a big payout. Overall, this is a positive new beginning. Next month actually looks a little bit more turbulent. The other thing I want to bring up is 2008 was also the housing crisis. It's when it began specifically in the Nishtha Nakshatra. When we started having eclipses on this axis is when the housing crisis began. So this can indicate a big change in housing, real estate development, maybe even real estate taking a downturn. This eclipse is ushering in the Lunar New Year. So happy Lunar New Year. This is the very beginning of the Fire Horse year. This is a year of passion, temptations, rebelliousness. It's all about quick change, taking action. February 17th is an 8 of Diamonds day in the spiritual spread. This card sits at the Uranus-Saturn position. And on the life spread, it sits on the Sun-Jupiter position. So Jupiter, Sun, Uranus, Saturn actually become very important. This card represents showcasing your creativity, being the star, being noticed for something, perfecting your skill, being spiritually gifted, spiritually protected. This card is showing up on the eclipse. A lot of us could be finally realizing our talents, what contributions we want to leave behind, what do we want to start, initiate. If your birthday falls on an 8 of Diamonds day, this is a huge year for you, or at the very least, the next 6 months are. As well as a 7 of Clubs day, because the 7 of Clubs sits in the 8 of Diamonds position in the life spread. So both of these cards are very much activated by this eclipse. And if you have one of these birthdays, this is a very big year for you. Your identity is shifting. There's big pivots in your career, recognition for your work taking the spotlight. This could also just mean that your life is going through a lot of changes. February 26th, Mercury will station retrograde at 22 degrees of Pisces. Mercury will be in retrograde motion from February 26th until March 20th. From 22 degrees of Pisces to 8 degrees of Pisces. When Mercury is retrograde, it's wise to back up your data, stay flexible to plans changing. We may experience issues with vehicles, with travel, with electronics. Review, revise plans, projects, and really analyze all of our friendships, our relationships, our communication, our skill sets. Sometimes things from the past may return, past conversations, past projects. We may be reminiscing about something, someone, people that we have not seen in a while, popping up, conversations with people we haven't talked to in a while. And what's interesting about this Mercury retrograde is it's traveling the path where we have been having the eclipses, where we have the North Node. So a lot of the situations that have been coming up in your life in the area where you have the sign of Pisces can be returning for review. What's really interesting about Mercury retrogrades in 2026 is that they are all happening in water signs. These are more emotional Mercury retrogrades. They are invoking feeling. Let's talk about numerology for a little bit. 2026 is a year 10-1. It's the Wheel of Fortune year, a year of new beginnings, radical change, things shifting dramatically all over the world. February is a month 2. Together we have a month 12. And 12 is like Pisces. Things are hidden. Things from our subconscious are making themselves conscious. 12 in tarot is the Hanged Man. Surrender, seeing a new perspective, pause, release old patterns, and don't force any situations. Let things unfold the way that they are supposed to. And if we add 1 plus 2, we have 3. It's a month of fun, creativity. It symbolizes the Empress. It's motherhood, family, creativity, abundance, intuition, connection. Connecting to Mother Earth, connecting to nature. It is the birth of a new idea. So there is a sense of releasing the past, understanding how timing works, not rushing anything, letting things unfold naturally. And that will lead us to a new creative idea, a new project, something new happening within our own life, within our own family, allowing creativity and abundance to flow into our lives by releasing old patterns that keep us stuck. But I think we're going to discover something new about ourselves in the process. I will go into what February means for each and every zodiac sign. I will have everything timestamped down below. Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising. February starts out with a full moon at 13 degrees of Leo in your 5th house of romance, children, creativity. This full moon can bring up some anxiety, some hardcore discussions with a friend, with a child, with a romantic partner. Those of you who have children, this can mean that they reached an important milestone. They have completed something in their life. Maybe there's a celebration around that. For others, this could even mean pregnancy, having a child, taking a romantic relationship to the next level, maybe even ending a romantic relationship that isn't going where you want it to go, the completion of a creative project you are ready to share. For some of you, this can be a time when you realize that something that brought you a lot of joy, a hobby of yours, is no longer doing that for you. And it's a time you want to put it to rest. Regardless of what's going on in your life, the very beginning of February is really focused on creative project, romantic relationships, or spending time with your children. On February 4th, Uranus will turn direct in your 2nd house of possessions, income. If you have personal planets from 26 to 30 degrees of Taurus, Scorpio, Leo, or Aquarius, you're really going to feel this. Uranus is unexplainable. If it's explainable, usually it's not Uranus. It's like something shocking out of the blue, changing up your whole life direction. Say it's Venus, it's changing up your relationships, money, moon, family, home life. Overall, this brings an emphasis to your second house. So there could be a new opening in the area of income, new income streams, new possessions, you finding new creative ways to make money. February 13th, Saturn will enter Aries, your first house, your rising sign, or it's entering the sign of your sun, your moon. This is a big pivotal point, a change in identity. It's a time when your life is changing direction. You could have a pessimistic, very serious outlook on life at the moment. Saturn's presence in the first house is a big signal for maturity. When our life direction is changing, such as you are single, now you are becoming a mom, now you are getting married, retirement, a new era in life, now you are separating from someone, getting a divorce, it signals usually a big change in life's direction, where we get really serious about changing our life, who we allow in it, who we allow around us. Saturn does not let anything slide. It pretty much wants you to get rid of anything that no longer belongs in your life now and in your future. So anything that does not stand the test of time will need to go over the next 2.5 years. And it can bring up health issues, issues of insecurity. And of course, it's squaring your 4th house, squaring your 10th house. So your home life, your family, your career, and your public image, also opposing your 7th house. So over the next 2.5 years, relationships with family, relationships with bosses, people of authority, and significant others, business partners, close friends can be tested. February 17th, we have a new moon solar eclipse in the 11th house. That's your groups, friendships, the organizations, charities you belong to. The last time that we started having eclipses on this axis, exactly January 7th, 2008. 2009. So if you want to look back, what was happening in your life back then, the themes are playing out yet again. It's a lot of times the same themes come up. Uranus from your 2nd house is squaring this solar eclipse. There could be sudden breakthroughs, sudden unexpected shifts when it comes to your income. When it comes to your friendships, there could be fallouts with friends, disagreements with a certain friend, a friend group, or even an older sibling, as Mars is very close to this eclipse. This signals a new beginning, new friendships, joining new communities, new groups of people, gaining a bigger following. The 11th house is also the love that we receive from other people. So you could be getting recognized, more followers, more popularity. You can meet new friends over the next 6 months to a year. There's a new opening for you when it comes to the 11th house. This could be making more money, getting more popular, actually feeling like you are well received. Your work is well received. Joining groups of people that you align with, communicating with new people, new plans, a new vision for your future. You might completely scratch off things that you used to want and set new goals that you want to achieve. If you have personal planets from about 25 to 30 degrees of Leo or Aquarius, you're going to feel this more intensely. As well as if you have personal planets from about 0 to 5 degrees of Pisces or Virgo, you can also feel this more intensely, and it will play out in a more dramatic way in your life. So try not to make any rash decisions 2 weeks before, 2 weeks after the eclipse. Let things unfold naturally. February 20th, Saturn and Neptune conjunct exactly at 0 degrees of Aries. Usually when Neptune first arrives in a house, we kind of sense something is off, something is going in a new direction, but we cannot quite pinpoint it. Saturn will bring structure to your new life vision, and for some of you, a completely new look, new style, new clothing, your diet, your whole life can change. And it's going to be a very gradual process of maturation, redefining what is important to you. February 26th, Mercury will station retrograde at 22 degrees of Pisces. The whole duration of Mercury retrograde is February 26th until March 20th. It's going from 22 degrees of Pisces back to 8 degrees of Pisces. Anytime we have a Venus retrograde, make sure you really review everything, back up your data, be very flexible. Plans can change, and there could be a lot of miscommunication, electronics breaking down, interference with travel. And for you, Aries, it's happening in the 12th house, your subconscious mind. This could keep you up at night, really revisiting things from the past. This also means that an ex could contact you, come back in your life, as you have the ruler of your 7th house of relationships connecting with Mercury in your 12th house. So for you, definitely it means revisiting things from the past, maybe really talking things out, revisiting past issues, letting go and releasing past hurts. And of course, it could also mean that there is something that you find out you were not aware of, especially when it comes to a business partner, clients, or a romantic partner. For some of you, it could be a big month of revelations, even something about a friend, a romantic partner, a past romantic partner. There could be something that comes to your awareness you were not aware of that maybe changes the course of a relationship or a connection for you. Mars, the planet of action and anger, is in your 11th house. So there could be a fallout with a friend. There could be disagreements with a friendship circle, a friend group. Or it could just mean that you are really working hard on your goals or a group project with people. But generally, this means there could be some irritation within a friendship circle with a friend through the month of February. So a huge month, and the big new beginning that is going to be unfolding over the next 6 months to a year is your friendship circle, your future goals and dreams, attaining what you've always wanted, meeting new people, like-minded people. I hope that this was helpful, Aries. Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Rising. February starts out with a full moon at 13 degrees of Leo in your 4th house of home, family. Full moon is opposing Mars, Venus, Mercury. So it gives a sense of being very confrontational. A lot of irritability, volatility, impulsiveness, confusing feelings, confusing communication, even a fight, tension between our needs and our desires. This might lead to some miscommunication, disagreements in the home, but really it signifies a culmination of sorts. So an ending, it could be you getting rid of an old vehicle, you actually moving, getting rid of stuff in your home. There might be an ending or a celebration in the life of your mother at this time. But there is a lot of feelings that are coming up, and arguments could be had. And also, right after that, February 4th, Uranus goes direct at 27 degrees of Taurus. Now, really pay attention if you have personal planets from 26 to 30 degrees of Taurus, the late degree Taurus risings, suns or moons. You guys could be having a huge change in health, career, image. Moon, your home, your family, a new addition to the family, a big move, a new look, a new life direction, and it could come on just sporadically. Uranus unfolds things quickly, really quickly. Things are said, things are done, things happen out of the blue. So this is your 1st house, meaning everything is up for radical, unexpected change. Your looks, your relationship, your clothing, your path in life, where you're going in this life, what you're doing with your life. That come out of the blue. They weren't planned within the next 3 months. February 17th, we have a new moon solar eclipse at 29 degrees of Aquarius. Those of you who have personal planets from 25 to 30 degrees of Leo, Aquarius, Or 0 to 5 degrees of Virgo or Pisces will feel this more intensely. This is your 10th house of career, your public image. And this eclipse signals a new beginning. Over the next 6 months, over the next year, there is a new beginning when it comes to your career. A raise, a promotion, a new job, opening up your own business, people recognizing you, your work, gaining more followers, gaining more attention, creating a new business plan, a new business idea, and going with it. So it is really a good sign for initiating something new. But as with eclipses, it can come out of the blue. It can come chaotically. Mars is with the eclipse. It could even be that some people lose their job, leave their job. Things can happen unexpectedly. Uranus is squaring this eclipse. There's a lot of unpredictability, and a lot of times it happens very chaotically. Not for everyone, but for those of you who have planets close to the 29 degrees of Aquarius or Leo, things could start happening very quickly. If you want to look back at what was happening exactly February of 2008, that is the last time that we had this eclipse. So 2008 and 2009, 2017, 2018, because the themes that are going to start playing out this year were the same back then. And this eclipse cycle will bring a lot of changes to your career, your public image, and your home life, where you live, who you live with, your family dynamics, your family relationships. There might be anger, disagreements at work, especially with bosses, people of authority, as Mars is transiting the 10th house. On the 20th, Saturn will meet up with Neptune at exactly 0 degrees of Aries. This is your 12th house, your subconscious mind, things happening behind the scenes. And this is going to start a long process of you uncovering your subconscious desires. Neptune will be transiting your 12th house for the next 14 years, bringing in a lot of creativity, vivid dreams, a big imagination, but also a tendency to escape reality. So you have to be careful with anything that you like to escape reality with, substances or anything like that, because with Neptune, a lot of times we can get carried away. And Saturn will be transiting your 12th house for the next 2.5 years. And it's bringing a lot of karmic closure, releasing your past, dealing with blockages, self-undoing, how you get in your own way, your mental health, negative patterns that come up in your life when it comes to relationships, career, your self-esteem. All of that begins in your subconscious mind, and now is the time, the next 2.5 years when Saturn is transiting your 12th house, to clear away those patterns. So when Saturn goes into your first house, you can start on a whole new trajectory. The next 5 years in your life is essentially introducing a new level of maturity. February 26th, Mercury will station retrograde at 22 degrees of Pisces. Now, the whole duration of Mercury retrograde is February 26th all the way until March 20th. Mercury retrograde is always a time to review, revise our plans, revisit our relationships, our friendships. Make sure you back up all your data. Stay flexible to all plans changing. Electronics could break down, communication may break down, and there could be some interference with travel. Now, for you, Taurus, this is happening in your 11th house of groups, friendships, organizations, your future plans. And this could mean that there's some miscommunication with friends. Venus is also there, so it could actually be you revisiting a past friendship, a past relationship. It could be an ex that tries to contact you, or you have communication with an ex, since Venus, which is your ruler, is also sitting with Mercury. Or it could be that an old friend comes back into your life, or you are just revisiting who you follow on social media, your whole friendship circle. You're revisiting who you really want around you and who's more of an energy vampire. This could also mean that you are revising a project that you are working on. A lot of you are completely changing your look, where you're going in this lifetime, maybe even moving, thinking about big career changes. Watch out for confrontations at home and at work. The first 10 days of February, the joy will come from working on future career goals, maybe even your business, and focusing on your career. After February 10th, the joy and fun will come from friends, socializing, focusing on your future hopes, your future dreams. And because the eclipse is in your 10th house, over the next 6 months, there could be big developments in your career, your business. A lot of changes going on in that area. I hope that this was helpful, Taurus. Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising. February 1st, we have a full moon at 13 degrees of Leo. This is your third house of siblings, communication, your neighborhood, your environment, your skill sets. Mars, Venus, and Mercury all opposing this full moon, and this could bring up a lot of competitiveness, irritability, impulsiveness, even volatility, a lot of confusing communication, as well as being torn between what it is that we need and what we desire. So definitely watch out for confrontation with siblings, with neighbors, with friends, with people online, because you could be feeling a little bit more angry, more agitated. Others could be feeling this way. The third house full moon does signify a completion of a project. Maybe a time where you need to get rid of old electronics, a phone, and buy something new. Something might give out. There could be an ending or something coming to a closure in the life of your sibling. There could be an end to something in your local community, your local environment, maybe a restaurant closing, you not hanging out in the same places anymore. Having some confrontations with somebody, really sharing your feelings, letting things out in the open that have been festering inside of you. It could also be an ending to something that you have been doing on a daily that you no longer need to, want to, so you're just changing up your schedule in some way. February 4th, Uranus, the planet of unpredictability, volatility, and change, is going direct at 27 degrees of Taurus. If you have personal planets from 26 to 30 degrees of Taurus, Scorpio, Leo, or Aquarius, you might be going through a lot of unpredictable changes over the next 3 months. So this is happening in your 12th house. Releasing outdated thought patterns, releasing negative habits is something that you might actually really want to pursue. Finding ways to let go of things that have been holding you back, let go of the past, and you might get some radical ideas on how to do that now. Things might just come together for you to be able to release that. On the 13th, Saturn enters your 11th house, and this is signaling a 2.5-year period where you are really working on your friendships. You're really reevaluating who you want in your life, who's an energy vampire, who is taking more than giving. Friendships might change over the next 2.5 years, either because you grew apart from certain friends, you or your friends could realize that you are in completely different places. But it can be a time where we get serious about friendships, who we want in our circle, who we want in our lives, and sometimes the circle gets smaller. It becomes more about quality over quantity. February 17th, we have a new moon solar eclipse at 29 degrees of Aquarius. You could look back to what was happening February 7th of 2008, basically 2008, 2009. And even 2017, 2018. The themes that came up in your life back then are going to be coming up now. A new moon solar eclipse is a new beginning, but with eclipses, there's a lot of volatility. Mars is with the eclipse. Uranus is squaring this eclipse. A lot of unpredictable things can be happening around the world and within your own personal life, especially if you have personal planets from 25 to 30 degrees of Leo or Aquarius, or 0 to 5 degrees of Virgo or Pisces. You guys will feel this more intensely. This is radically changing your worldview, your religious beliefs, beliefs in your faith, maybe even political beliefs. This could be the beginning of you wanting to teach, to learn a new skill, or maybe even publish your work. Embark on moving abroad, or maybe even big travels, passport, litigation, immigration. You're going to set your aspirations on something bigger. And a lot of times this comes with wanting to find a new teacher, wanting to learn something new, expand our world view. The ruler of the new moon solar eclipse is Saturn, meeting up with Neptune in your 11th house. And the ideas could come from groups, through charities, through causes that you believe in, through creativity, social media. New associations could lead you to this initial new beginning. Remember, for the next 20 years, you have Pluto transforming your 9th house area. So the world is ready for you, for your ideas, in the form of teaching, in the form of publishing, in the form of sharing your unique ideas. And this eclipse is the beginning of setting all of that off. Of course, with eclipses, it's unpredictable. It could come out of nowhere, come out of the blue, where you get this big inspiration to write, to learn something new, to teach, to get on social media, to have bigger conversations. Try not to make any rash decisions 2 weeks before, 2 weeks after this eclipse, because things will just unfold exactly how they're supposed to be. You don't really want to be initiating anything during that volatile time. Over the next 6 months to a year, you're definitely going to see that you're either really inspired to learn something, to teach, or to just set out and broaden your horizons. Completely change your way of thinking, seeing the world, and connecting with others. February 20th, Saturn and Neptune conjunct exactly at 0 degrees of Aries. This is your 11th house. Saturn will bring structure to your associations, your friendships, your future visions. Neptune will bring in creative inspiration so you can make your dreams come true. Saturn will solidify anything that you want to work on for the next 2.5 years. Now, Neptune will be in your 11th house for 14 years. And when Neptune comes in, it's not like Uranus, it's not like Pluto. It comes in where we don't even realize what's going on. Things might get hazy within friendship. So do watch out for attracting people who are deceitful, liars, and this could be exposed within your friendship circle over the next 2.5 years with Saturn's help. Confusing relationships, but it could also bring you in touch with a lot of spiritual people, a lot of spiritual friends that work in the creative fields, that work in media, photography, the arts. So you could be exposed to a whole new group of friends over the next 15 years, or even a cause that is bigger than you want to be involved with. And Saturn will bring a lot of maturity into your friendships. Saturn was last in Aries from December 1996 to February of 1999. So you can look back at what it was like when Saturn was transiting Aries back then. Were your friendships affected? Were your goals affected? February 26th, Mercury, which is your ruler, goes retrograde at 22 degrees of Pisces. So from February 26th to March 20th is the Mercury retrograde period. It is a time to review, revise plans, really review your friendships, your relationships. And it may be a time when electronics break down, communication breaks down. There could be miscommunication, interference with travel, having to redo something, revise something. And for you, it's happening in the area of career. There could be a project that you are working on for your job, for your career, your business, that you are revising, rethinking, or maybe pivoting the whole thing completely, as your 5th house ruler is in your 10th house. So it could be a creative project that you are working on, revising, or maybe even revisiting a past project for your job, your career that you had in mind, and you're coming back to it now. As always, when your ruler is retrograde, there could be some indecision, miscommunication, maybe even you reevaluating your career, your life, your look, your friendships, your relationships. It's a time when we may be communicating with people we haven't heard from. People from the past may come back into our lives. A big month. A lot is changing. You have Mars transiting your ninth house. So watch out for arguments, disagreements with a father figure, with teachers, with publishers. The first 10 days of the month, when Venus is in your ninth house, really immersing yourself in education, knowledge, a documentary, a book, learning something new is what's going to bring you a lot of excitement, a lot of joy. After the 10th, when Venus goes into your 10th house, really working on your future career goals or a creative project for your career is what's going to bring you a lot of fulfillment. A huge month, a month where you are really rediscovering new talents, wanting to pursue a new educational path, and the beginning of you really reevaluating your friendships and your future goals. I hope that this was helpful, Gemini. Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising, February 1st. We have a full moon at 13 degrees of Leo. This is your second house of self-esteem, income, possessions. A full moon is a culmination. It is an ending or a celebration around something that you have been working on. This could be an end to a certain job, a certain stream of income. This also could be when you reached a financial milestone and there is a big celebration. You could be actually decluttering, getting rid of possessions that you no longer find valuable, you no longer need. Now, this full moon is opposing Mars, Venus, Mercury's opposing this, so there could be a lot of stressful situations, a lot of stressful conversations, anger, disagreements, and misunderstandings with family around finances, around responsibility, around money and possessions. This could also really kick off you being very competitive about earning money, your earning potential. Releasing negative thinking patterns that really affect your self-esteem, your self-image, your self-worth. Releasing any blockages that are in the way of your earning potential. February 4th, Uranus will station direct at 27 degrees of Taurus. If you have personal planets from 26 to 30 degrees of Taurus, Scorpio, Leo, or Aquarius, the next 3 months will be packed full of unexpected, unpredictable change. It's turning direct in your 11th house, which means gaining recognition, gaining new followers, finding like-minded people, like-minded friends, and there could be a lot of changes going on in your friendship circle, your friend group. February 13th, Saturn will re-enter Aries, and this is starting a 2.5-year cycle in your 10th house, where you are maturing, reaching the top in your career endeavors. It's a time of building up your business, your career, your public image. The huge thing this month, February 17th, we have a new moon solar eclipse at 29 degrees of Aquarius. If you have personal planets from 25 to 30 degrees in Aquarius or Leo, or even 0 to 5 degrees in Pisces or Virgo, you will feel this eclipse more intensely. It could be changing other things in your life if it is affecting a personal planet. If you want to look back at this cycle that these eclipses are starting, look back to February of 2008, that whole period of 2008, 2009, even 2017, 2018. The themes that are going to start playing out now were playing out then. You might already be feeling it now, but definitely over the next 6 months to a year, you're going to notice a huge new beginning happening in your 8th house area. This is the area of joint finances, shared resources, shared responsibilities. This could mean new contracts, new loans, an inheritance. It may be a time where you're actually going to be working with a therapist, counselor, healing issues from the past. This may also mean that your partner or spouse is going to be bringing in more money. There is going to be a new shared responsibility. And this could range from anything like starting a family, getting pregnant, joining your finances together, working with a new business partner, new loans, new contracts. So it's all about money, responsibility, family. And of course, the 8th house can sometimes bring on a loss where we suffer grief, even an inheritance. Mars is there all month long. There could actually even be some arguments around finances, responsibilities with a partner, a spouse. Uranus is also squaring this eclipse, so sudden events could just appear out of nowhere. There could be a lot of volatility involved in finances, joint finances over the next 2 months as events are unfolding in your life. Not everybody will be this affected. Mostly those of you who have personal planets around those degrees. Others of you could just see that your finances with a partner or spouse are changing. There's new income coming in, sudden gains that come to you as well. Try not to make any rash decisions 2 weeks before, 2 weeks after this eclipse. The eclipses will be unfolding a lot in your life. There's a lot of volatility, so it's wise to just let things unfold naturally and try not to make any rash decisions until you have all the information. February 20th, we have Saturn and Neptune coming together at 0 degrees of Aries. This is your 10th house of career and public image, what you are known for. And this is a time when a lot of you will set into motion a new identity that you want to be known for out there in the public. And some of you, it just might be you're becoming a mom and your identity is changing. Some of you are starting a new job, starting a new business, building up your business. Saturn is bringing a lot of maturity into your 10th house, and it could be a very good career rise. Or it could be a time where you leave a job and you go for something else because things are no longer working at your current employment with your current business. Neptune over the next 14 years is bringing a ton of creativity into your work life. You may even want to start a career in healing, in media, in art, fashion. But those of you who have personal planets from 0 to 5 degrees of Aries, Libra, Cancer, Capricorn can feel this right now. And Neptune can make you feel like you're losing track of time. You don't know what's quite going on. It's confusing. You do have to guard yourself, as sometimes people can come into your life that are deceitful. People who want to copy you, steal your ideas. This conjunction signals a new beginning in reputation, in career, in what you're known for. For a lot of you, this is going to be the start of wanting to express yourself creatively, whether through work or what it is that you do on a daily basis. Because with Neptune, we are trying to connect to higher source. And right now, over the next 14 years, you are connecting through responsibility, through work, through your business, through what it is that you want to be known for. So a lot of Cancer risings might want to shift their work, their job, their career into more spiritual fields, into creative fields, or at least express that more within the job or career or position in life that you already have now. February 26th, Mercury will station retrograde at 22 degrees of Pisces. The Mercury retrograde cycle is from February 26th until March 20th. It's a time to review, revise plans, review and reevaluate all of our close relationships. Make sure to back up all your data, be flexible to all plans changing. Electronics may break down. There can be issues with communication, with travel. For you, this is happening in your 9th house of travel, immigration, reviewing your educational path, reviewing something that you were working on prior. Go over immigration passport application and details, a delay in a court, legal proceeding, or judgment. Booking a trip or any kind of travel plans now might be delayed or not go as planned. The second half of the month, Venus will be sitting there with Mercury, and this could actually mean that you also reminisce about friends, people that you used to date, or maybe even old friends contact you, exes can contact you. There could be a lot of analyzing of the past and past conversations. The first 10 days of February, the joy will come from digging deep into your psyche, maybe learning some astrology, tarot, metaphysical subjects. After the 10th, when Venus shifts to your 9th house, the joy will come from learning music, food from different cultures, immersing yourself in a good book, in a documentary, Because Mars is transiting your 8th house all month long, issues from the past will come up to the surface and you will need to deal with them. So there could be a lot of emotions and irritation with how things transpired in the past. And you could be really thinking about that, focusing on that in February. But you're also going to be able to uncover all of the strength that you have. And what could emerge out of this is a newfound self-confidence, especially in your abilities to heal, to regenerate. And with that can come an increase of income. I hope that this was helpful for you, Cancer. Leo, Sun, Moon, and Rising. February 1st, we have a full moon at 13 degrees of Leo. This is your first house, or the sign of your sun, the sign of your moon. It is opposing the sun, of course. It's opposing Mercury, Venus, and Mars. And this can bring up a lot of heated conversations, a lot of irritability, confusing communication, tensions between what is needed and what are the desires of you and another person. So there could be a lot of relationship dynamics in this full moon, but a full moon in the first house is a culmination. It is a reward for your past efforts or an ending, a shedding of your old identity, releasing old outdated parts of your personality, the version of yourself that you are moving away from. And this is usually brought on by the experiences that we have experienced, because a full moon is just the completing cycle of the last new moon that we had. And a lot of you could be celebrating something and completely changing up your personal style, your look with a new haircut, an updated wardrobe, celebrating a big milestone in your life. This year, we are starting the eclipse cycle in the Aquarius Leo axis. So you guys are going to be going through big dramatic changes, and it starts in February. The North Node is still in Pisces, but this is the very beginning this month, and you guys might already be feeling this, the late degree Leos, that there's big changes coming. You can feel it. You want to start initiating some are happening to you, and a lot of changes could be brought on now, even with this full moon in your sign. And it could start from an argument, a disagreement with a romantic partner, a close friend, a business partner, a client. It's the year of the fire horse. It is a 1 year, and February and March are accelerating huge change. And for you, Leos, it's starting to begin in the area of relationships. With Mars being present in your 7th house most of the month, there can be relationship disagreements, strong attractions, meeting somebody new, falling instantly in love, or a business partner, a romantic partner can actually just be more argumentative with you. A partner or spouse needs more of your attention. They are going through something with their health, with their career. February 13th, Saturn will shift into your 9th house, which will begin a 2.5-year journey of you finding new faith, a new belief system, putting structure into an existing belief system, seeking out knowledge, or even becoming a teacher, publishing your work in some way. February 20th, Saturn and Neptune will conjunct exactly at that 0 degree Aries mark. Those of you with personal planets from 0 to 5 degrees of Aries, Libra, Cancer, Capricorn could already be feeling something new is brewing in your life. But all of us are initiating a new beginning. Saturn can bring a lot of structure into your creative endeavors, especially those of you who work in social media, who work in publishing, who write, who teach. Neptune can bring in a lot of creative inspiration. Could lead you to traveling distant land, really exploring different cultures, different belief systems. It's a very long transit, but Neptune will mostly be sitting there in the background, really rewiring your thinking process. February 17th, we have a new moon solar eclipse at 29 degrees of Aquarius. Those of you who have personal planets from 25 to 30 degrees of Aquarius or Leo, or even 0 to 5 degrees of Pisces or Virgo, you will feel this eclipse more intensely. Now look back to February of 2008. That whole period of 2008 and 2009, or even 2017, 2018. What was happening in your life? Because the themes that played out then are starting to come back into your life. This is a new beginning. It's a new beginning in your relationships. This is a time when you can start gaining more attention, more clients, working with new people, new business partners. Mars is sitting with this eclipse. This means you could be really aggressively pursuing your desires. There is a square from Uranus, which means a lot of surprising situations could arise in the area of relationships. You could meet someone new sporadically out of the blue, maybe someone from the workplace, someone introduced to you by a friend or colleague. There might be new business negotiations. A friend or colleague could introduce you to new people. You could be signing new contracts. But for a lot of you, this is the very beginning of relationships changing, relationship dynamics changing, marriage, getting pregnant, somebody new coming into your life. And this can happen over the next 6 months, over the next year. A lot of times it's around the eclipse time we could meet somebody we know for a really long time. They are meant to be in our lives. Somebody completely different from you, somebody foreign. For a lot of us, this could be us initiating a divorce, a breakup. Those of you who are married, you're in a partnership, this can mean that there's new developments happening in the life of your partner, something going on with their health, their career is expanding. They might be getting new career offers. So this eclipse is a new beginning, and it's all about love, romance, marriage, partnership, taking your business to the next level, or even your partner or spouse going through big changes. Very late degree Leo risings will feel this the most, but also very early degree Leo risings are also going through their own relationship changes, as Pluto has now been sitting in your 7th house, which could be drastically transforming your relationships, your love life. February 26th, Mercury will station retrograde at 22 degrees of Pisces. The whole period of Mercury retrograde is February 26th until March 20th. It's a time to review, revise plans, revisit, and reanalyze friendships, relationships. Make sure you back up all your data. This can be a confusing time where there could be a lot of miscommunication. Electronics can break down, and travel plans may change in a major way. For you, this is happening in the area of your 8th house, joint finances, and there could be something that you are having to redo, reapply and change your health plans, insurance plans, issues with taxes, issues with joint finances, issues with responsibilities that you share with a partner or spouse. This could actually even bring up communication from the past. Venus will be sitting with Mercury for half the month. You could really be reminiscing about the past, even talking through it, really analyzing your past intimate relationships. And it can be a time when you reach out to an ex-partner reaches out to you, you talk to somebody from the past. This Mercury retrograde can bring up a lot of intense feelings, intense emotions, and even intense discussions. Mercury rules over your 11th house of hopes and dreams, your plans for the future, your friendships, your close associates, and your 2nd house of income, possessions, your self-worth and self-esteem. And this is when you could really be analyzing money, certain friendships and associations, maybe even completely changing your vision that you have for your future. And this could be because your relationships are changing. And you are redefining yourself. You are redefining your self-worth. Getting rid of things that you no longer want in your life. I hope that this was helpful, Leo. Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Rising, February 1st. We have a full moon at 13 degrees of Leo. This is your 12th house, the subconscious mind, your mental health. It's the house of release, letting go. Mars, Venus, Mercury, all opposing this full moon can bring a lot of competitiveness within us. Maybe even impulsiveness, volatility, tension between what we need and what we desire. But it's also a really good time to release a negative habit, Release negative thinking patterns. Release any grudges that you have been holding on to from the past. From the end of January and the first week of February, you may have a lot of feelings come up of painful memories. Memories of past hurts, past betrayals. These thoughts may even keep you up at night. There can be some sadness, some anxiousness. Mars opposing this full moon is what's going to give you that big push to release all those negative feelings that you have. Finally let go of them and finally turn all that anger, all that angst into something positive, a victory. For a lot of you, getting this stuff out of your system, all that anger you've been holding on inside is what's going to push you to better yourself within your career, with your lifestyle, reaching your fitness goals. You are transmuting the energy into something positive. All of those subconscious feelings coming to the surface are there to really show you what it is that you need to release so that you could be a better version of yourself. The end of January and the first week of February, you may find yourself being a little bit more introverted. February 4th, Uranus will turn direct at 27 degrees of Taurus. If you have personal planets from 26 to 30 degrees of Taurus, Scorpio, Leo, or Aquarius, you can feel things changing in your life out of the blue, unexpectedly. Some of you might have the end of the Taurus sign as your MC, the highest part in your chart, representing your career, your reputation, and Uranus is a radical change, instability. Some of you might be having a big career shift, a big career pivot. Mars, the planet of anger and action, transiting your 6th house in February means you're getting motivated to get fit, get healthy. Co-workers may be more argumentative or annoying. Those of you who own a business, it's a time where your employees could be unpredictable or cause you some issues. Your ruler, Mercury, is in your 7th house of relationships, where it will station retrograde later on in the month of February. On the 10th, Venus will go into your 7th house. So those of you who are single have a high probability of meeting somebody new, starting a new relationship, taking a relationship to the next level, falling in love. There is a big focus on romantic relationships this month, Virgo. February 17th, we have a solar eclipse. It's exactly at the end of 28 degrees, so pretty much 29 degrees of Aquarius. Mars is there close by. We have Pluto in the sign of Aquarius, intensifying all these eclipses that we will be having in the Aquarius Leo axis. This can bring up a lot of tension and a lot of surprises coming to you through other people, through skill sets, through coworkers, through friends. Uranus is also squaring this eclipse, so there could be a sudden surprise, a sudden need to want to change your life, to want to do something, sudden new opportunities coming to you. This is a solar eclipse. It is a brand new beginning. For you, it's happening in the area of work, employees, colleagues, health. It could be that you suddenly want to change your life around, change your diet plan around, change your health habits, new coworkers, new employees, a new job for some of you. A new work opportunity could present itself. There could be a lot of anxiety, fear going on within all of us around the eclipse. This can require a lot of strength, a lot of determination. Maybe even you're aggressively pursuing something or something that just requires direct action because of the square from Uranus. Look back to February 7th of 2008. That whole period of 2008, 2009, and even the period of 2017, 2018, the themes that are going to start coming up now were happening back then. If you have personal planets from 25 to 30 degrees of Aquarius or Leo, this will affect you the most. Those of you who have a very early degree Virgo planets, or you're a Virgo rising anywhere from 0 to 5 degrees, you may also feel this eclipse, and it could be changing your look, your style, your relationships. For some of you, this could mean a new pet, you figuring out what it is that you're good at, what you want to pursue, and it could come out suddenly, unexpectedly, from unexpected sources. So be open to everything. Try not to make any rash decisions 2 weeks before to 2 weeks after this eclipse. Let things unfold naturally so you can make an informed decision. And this new beginning that is unfolding can happen anytime over the next 6 months, although you'll start feeling the big shifts happening in February and March. On the 20th of February, Saturn and Neptune will conjunct exactly at 0 degrees of Aries. It will make you very intuitive, very spiritual, but you have to watch out with Neptune because it will blur all boundaries. So you will have to be extra cautious when it comes to finances, especially joint finances. Saturn going into the 8th house means you can be delving deep into past hurts, past secrets, studying deep mystical occult knowledge, maybe even getting therapy, getting rid of old karmic patterns, even karmic family patterns that are holding you back in life. And it is to make you more self-sufficient. So it may seem as there is maybe less money coming in from a partner, a spouse, a business, coming in from other people to really turn the attention on to you. So it's really a time where you're going to get very serious about your life, about your future. The last time that Saturn transited Aries was December 1996 to February of 1999, if you want to look back at that time. Of course, this time we have Neptune also entering Aries, and Neptune will be in Aries for 14 years. So it's quite a long transit that's working in the background, rewiring the way that you attract finances, feel about yourself, intimacy, psychic connection. So with Neptune, you will feel it most when it makes contact with a personal planet. February 26th, Mercury, your ruling planet, is stationing retrograde at 22 degrees of Pisces. Mercury will be retrograde from February 26th until March 20th. It is a time of reviewing, revising plans, contracts, reanalyzing all of our friendships and relationships. Make sure you back up all your data, be flexible to plans changing. There can be issues with cars, electronics, and delays in travel. For you, Virgo, this is your ruling planet, and you could be reanalyzing everything from your health, your look, your life, to your career, what steps you want to take in your career, maybe even revising a project that you have for work. It will be retrograding in your 7th house, which means all your close relationships, your friendships, your contracts, business partnerships are all up for review. A time that you could be reminiscing about an ex-partner, an ex-lover, or they can be contacting you. Secrets or things you were unaware of could come out. Things can be revealed over the next 2 months. Pay close attention. Next month, we also have an eclipse in your sign and a lot of action in your 7th house. So there is a lot happening when it comes to your personal relationships. Next month, Mars will also move into your 7th house relationship area, which could bring up a lot more conflict, even conflict from the past to be resolved. So it can feel a little bit more turbulent next month. So there's big changes going on in your life direction, your relationships. I hope that this was helpful for you, Virgo. Libra, Sun, Moon, and Rising. We have a full moon in the sign of Leo. This is your 11th house of gains, friendships, connections. There could be endings in certain friendships with certain goals that you have for yourself. Maybe you are pivoting into another goal. Something hasn't worked out. This can also mean that you are celebrating an achievement with friends, with a group of people, or something that you have achieved, a goal that you have been going after. Or maybe you are leaving behind an old group, a club, an organization, certain connections that you no longer feel aligned to. February 4th, Uranus will turn direct at 27 degrees of Taurus. And if you have personal planets from 26 to 30 degrees of Taurus, Scorpio, Leo, or Aquarius, there might be some unpredictable sudden events that occur in your life. This is happening in your 8th house. So there could be a sudden change of finances, maybe getting a loan, an inheritance, money coming to you from other people. Changes with a spouse or partner's finances, secrets coming out, things you were unaware of coming to the surface. Mars, the planet of anger and action, the ruler of your relationships, is in your 5th house all of February. This means you could be really working on a creative project, some of you initiating a new romantic relationship. If you have children, they could require more of your attention or be a little bit more argumentative. The first 10 days of February, your ruling planet Venus is in your 5th house. This is where Mars is, where Pluto is. A lot of you might have started or wanting to start, initiate a new romantic relationship. February 10th, Venus, your ruling planet, is entering the 6th house. So you could be having better relations with coworkers, with employees, or really focused on getting fit, getting healthy. February 13th, Saturn will enter your 7th house. The last time we had Saturn in the sign of Aries was December 1996 to February of 1999. Saturn will be bringing realness into your relationships. So anything that cannot stand the test of time, Saturn will want to remove. Those of you who are married, you're coupled, this can mean that your spouse or partner is going through a more challenging time. Saturn can bring in some loneliness, some seriousness, age gap relationship. It could also really make you focus on your work and totally forego dating for a while. It could be a time where you're going to get very serious about relationships, who you let into your life. If there are any existing problems in a relationship, Saturn will point them out. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you will have a breakup or a divorce, but it does mean that if there are problems in a relationship, you will not be able to look away. You will either have to resolve it and grow stronger in your relationships, or you will have to let go of relationships that are not right for you. And that's really over the course of the next 2.5 years. But those of you who are very early degree Libra risings, you can feel this going on right now. And on the 20th, Saturn and Neptune will conjunct at exactly 0 degrees of Aries, a new beginning in your love life. If you are in a relationship, a marriage right now, watch out because a lot of things that are kept hidden, kept secret can come to the surface. But a lot of you could be getting into a new relationship, feeling really drawn to somebody right now. With Neptune, you do have to guard against codependent relationships. You could be attracting people who have addiction issues, issues with mental illness, artsy, creative, spiritual people, but also people who can lie, who can cheat. And Neptune dissolves boundaries. So a lot of times we are not seeing the flaws in people, although Saturn for the next 2.5 years can help you dissect what is true and what is not true. Neptune in your 7th house is a 14-year transit, so it's not going to be that the whole time you're feeling this way, although the whole time you are trying to connect to divine source through relationships. But do watch out for when Neptune crosses, squares, opposes a personal planet, or when it's exactly opposing your ascendant. That is when a lot of new developments can occur. February 17th, we have a new moon solar eclipse exactly at the end of 28 degrees of Aquarius. If you have personal planets from 25 to 30 degrees of Aquarius or Leo, or even the very early degrees of Virgo or Pisces, maybe 0 to 3 or 0 to 5 degrees of Virgo or Pisces, you will feel this eclipse more intensely. Look back to 2008, 2009. even 2017, 2018. The themes that are coming up now were playing out back then, and a lot of times we can recognize them when we look back. This is a solar eclipse. It's a new beginning in the area of children, creativity, romance. There is a square from Uranus to this eclipse, meaning this can come in unpredictable ways, unpredictable things, unpredictably maybe falling in love, finding a new creative passion. New beginnings could be sparked by your actions. Those of you who are single, over the next 6 months, you could meet somebody and fall in love. Pregnancy for some of you. If you have older children, maybe they are having children. Some exciting new developments going on in the lives of your children. Fifth house is all about pleasure, love, enjoyment. So a lot of you, not just falling in love, but this could mean new passions, new hobbies, new creative ways that you want to express yourself, starting a creative business. And for some of you, this will happen over the course of the next few months, but there is a new beginning happening here. So if you are single, you want to date, you want to meet someone, it's a good time to put yourself out there, initiate a new romantic relationship. Eclipses can be very unpredictable. Try not to make any rash decisions 2 weeks before, 2 weeks after the eclipse. These are fated events. A lot of times we can meet fated partners. It can also be a time where we release an old romantic partner and something new comes into our lives. Somebody new comes into our lives. So there could be a lot of emotions going on within all of us during the month of February and March. February 26th, Mercury will station retrograde at 22 degrees of Pisces. Mercury will be retrograde from February 26th all the way until next month, March 20th. It's a time to review plans, really rethink your friendships, your relationships. Make sure to back up all data. Plans might change. Electronics can break down. There may be issues with travel, a lot of miscommunication. And this for you is happening in the area of your 6th house. So co-workers, your employees, your health habits, your pets, your daily routine, all of this is up for review. Mercury also rules your 9th house of higher education, publishing, travel, your teachers, legal dealings, and the 12th house of your mental health, your subconscious mind, the house of losses. And this is a time where you could be making a lot of what is unconscious conscious and actually dealing with your health, your mental health. Really rethinking the patterns that hold you back in life. You might also be rethinking a publishing deal. There might be delays in a legal matter or travel plans, as well as you might be thinking of going back to school, re-educating yourself. Those of you who have employees, you own a business, you could become aware of things you were unaware of when it comes to your employees, what's going on at work. This can also be a time when there is issues with coworkers, with work, you having to redo a work project, reanalyze your diet, your routine, your health concerns in some way. Going back to past bills, past financial transactions. Every time Mercury will be retrograde in 2026, it's going to be in a water sign. So a lot of emotions are coming up within us, and this could actually mean that you could be reminiscing about people from the past, certain relationships, certain friendships, and you will feel this in February and March. And those of you who are early degree Libra risings, with the entrance of Neptune and Saturn in your 7th house, there's definitely some forward movement when it comes to relationships, business partners, or your creative ventures. And it all starts in February. I hope that this was helpful, Libra. Scorpio, sun, moon, and rising. We start out the month with a full moon in Leo on the 1st of February. This is your 10th house of career, public image. A full moon is when something has reached its peak. It's a conclusion or a celebration. This can mean that you have reached a goal when it comes to a career project, a career, maybe receiving a promotion, receiving rewards for past efforts that you have made in your career. And for some of you, this could be an ending around the job, the career, maybe leaving a job. Your bosses, your superiors could be leaving the place that you work at. So there could be a change in the people that you work with. So for some of you, you are improving your public image, gaining attention, rewards for past efforts. And for some of you, this is an ending, leaving a job, or just completing a big work project that you have been working on and putting it out there into the public. This means the first 2 weeks of February, you are really focused on your reputation, your career. February 4th, Uranus will turn direct at 27 degrees of Taurus. If you have personal planets from 26 to 30 degrees of Taurus, Scorpio, Leo, or Aquarius, there could be sudden shifts and unpredictable changes going on in your life. And for you guys, this is your relationships. There could be a new relationship that comes to you out of the blue, falling in love with somebody completely different, maybe even a sudden end to a relationship, a business contract, late degree, Scorpio rising. You can also feel this, that there is sudden changes in love, in business. All month long, Mars, the planet of anger and action, is in your 4th house of home, family, vehicles. Watch out for arguments, disagreements with family members. There may be issues with a vehicle or things in the home that you have to fix. Something breaks down. You could also be really working hard on home improvements, redecorating, putting all your energy into a home project. February 10th, Venus moves into your 5th house. Venus is the ruler of your 7th house, where we're going to have Uranus turning direct. And with Venus in your 5th house, this can signal a new romantic relationship, a new creative passion, new creative project, just really having fun, hanging out with your children, or really being focused on your creative hobbies. For those of you who are single, a great time this month to put yourself out there, to meet somebody new. There could be a lot of new developments in love this month, Scorpio. February 13th, Saturn will enter your 6th house. This is the house of health, work, pets. Over the next 2.5 years, there's going to be a huge focus on getting fit, getting healthy, paying off your bills, and reorganizing your life in a more structured way. Now, there can be issues with employees, those of you who own a business, or co-workers. Saturn is usually showing us what we need to release, let go of. And for you, this is going to be an excellent time to release any negative habits, to leave a job that is not right for you, to really work on your health, clean up your routine in some way. On the 20th of February, Neptune and Saturn will meet up exactly at 0 degrees of Aries. So this could be a new beginning when it comes to employees, co-workers, setting up new health routines. But you do have to watch out with Neptune. Those of you who own a business, watch out for employees who aren't being honest. Health issues popping up that you can't quite figure out what it is. This can also mean that your routine is changing in a big way. It could make you a little bit more forgetful as well. This is a very long transit. Neptune will be in your 6th house for 14 years. You will find it mostly affecting you when it makes contact with a personal planet. Otherwise, it is just there, playing in the background, trying to rework your daily routine, all your health habits, how you go about your day-to-day life. February 17th, we have a new moon solar eclipse at 28 degrees of Aquarius. If you have personal planets from 25 to 30 degrees of Aquarius or Leo, or even the very beginning of Virgo and Pisces, 0 to 5 degrees of Virgo and Pisces. So say it's moon, there could be a lot of changes to your home, your family. It's Venus, it could be love, beauty, money, aesthetic changes. If it's sun, it's health, career, changing up your life direction, your style. Look back to February of 2008, and really that whole time of 2008, 2009. Even 2017, 2018, the themes that were playing out then are going to play out right now. This is a solar eclipse, a new beginning that is unfolding over the next 6 months. And it's activating your 4th house of home, family, mother, vehicles. It could be that you're getting a new car. You are moving in with somebody, big changes within the home. There could be a lot of changes in the life of your mother, a new baby, a new pet, a new family member, a new roommate. So your core foundation, your security is changing. It's a new beginning, but we have Mars sitting with the eclipse. Pluto is in Aquarius. Uranus is squaring this eclipse. So it could be because of frustrations, an argument, something out of the blue, unpredictable that happens that pushes you to initiate this new beginning. Eclipses are fated events. Sometimes things happen completely out of our control. So try not to make any rash decisions 2 weeks before to 2 weeks after this eclipse. Let everything unfold in your life. If you have personal planets there sitting in your 4th house, this could be a huge new beginning. But for all of you, it is a new beginning when it comes to the home, the family, where you live, your vehicles. For some of you, it could just be major renovations, a major redecorating of your home. And for some of you, things can be unfolding on a much bigger scale. February 26th, Mercury will station retrograde at 22 degrees of Pisces. The whole period of Mercury retrograde is from February 26th to March 20th. A time to really review and reflect on your projects, your relationships, your friendships. A good idea to back up all your data, as electronics can break down. There could be miscommunication, issues with travel. Every time Mercury goes retrograde in 2026, it is in a water sign, bringing up a lot of emotions, a lot of rethinking our past relationships. It can be a time where exes reach out, you reach out to someone, connect with people you haven't seen in a while. For you, Scorpio, this Mercury retrograde is in your 5th house of children, romance, creative projects. It could be a time where you have to redo a creative project. You go back to something that you used to love, an old hobby of yours. You rediscover new ways to have fun, to connect with your children. There could be issues with children that need to be resolved in some way. And of course, the biggest thing for you, it could actually be a romantic partner from the past reaching out to you, connecting to you in some way, connecting to a child, a grandchild you haven't talked to in a while. But for most of you, it's going to be dealing with romance, ex-partners, a time where things from the past come back into your life, maybe even things are revealed you were unaware of before about a past partner, a romantic partner. Mercury also rules over your 8th house of joint finances, responsibilities that you share with another person, money that comes from outside sources. It can be a time where child support payments, custody issues come up, or maybe there is something that has to be revised in that area. The responsibilities that you and another person share, it also rules over your 11th house. So finances, joint responsibilities, friendships, long-term plans could all come under review during this Mercury retrograde. Uranus turning direct in your 7th house, it could actually be that a friend reveals their feelings towards you, or you fall for a friend at this time. A lot to think about when it comes to creative projects, children, and romantic partners in February and March. I hope that this was helpful, Scorpio. Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising. February will start out with a full moon in Leo in your 9th house area. You could be having a lot of spiritual breakthroughs, a clear vision of what you are planning for your future. This can be the end of a legal case, a legal matter, or maybe you are working on passport, visa applications, completing a course of study, completing some school project. A lot of adjustments in your way of thinking about the world. The end of a contract in some way. For some of you, this could be a celebration around finishing school, finishing a course, publishing your work and it going really well, celebrating a special teacher, a special mentor in some way. February 4th, Uranus will turn direct at 27 degrees of Taurus. If you have personal planets from 26 to 30 degrees of Taurus, Scorpio, Leo, or Aquarius, there could be some unpredictable new beginnings unfolding in your life over the next 2 months. Uranus is turning direct in your 6th house of work, routine, health. Those of you who own a business, there could be unpredictable things going on within your business with your employees. Unpredictable changes with coworkers, with work, or you could decide to completely change your diet, your health routine in some way. February 13th, Saturn will enter your fifth house of love, children, romance, creativity. Over the next 2.5 years, Saturn is going to make you really work hard in this area of your life. And this can mean the relationship that you have with your children can undergo some scrutiny. Big developments in the lives of your children. This can also mean that you're working really hard on a creative project. Saturn can put a damper on our fun, on our creativity, so we could be a little bit more pessimistic about having fun, engaging with our hobbies, or our romantic relationships. Romantic relationships could become more serious. It is a 2.5 year transit, but on the 20th, Neptune and Saturn conjunct at exactly 0 degrees of Aries in your fifth house, signaling a brand new beginning in a creative project, investing your money into the stock market, new investments. Some of you may be thinking about pregnancy, or there's a new beginning in the lives of your children. But for a lot of you, this is going to play out in the area of love. A new romantic partner could have came into your life already or will come into your life. If you have personal planets from about 0 to 5 degrees of Aries, Libra, Cancer, Capricorn, you could be feeling this already. And with Neptune, do watch out that you are not attracting somebody with addictions, codependency issues, mental health issues. We may attract people who lie, people who cheat. On a negative. On a positive, you could feel like you're falling in love. You've met your soulmate. There could be a lot of yearning for this person. So a lot of you could be experiencing a new beginning in a romantic relationship. And Neptune is going to be in your fifth house in the background for the next 14 years. You will notice it most when it makes contact with a personal planet. Otherwise, it is just rewiring the way that you love, your connection to your children, your connection to how you have fun, to your hobbies. A lot of you could discover new ways to have fun, new creative hobbies that you can turn into a profitable business. As Saturn can now help you make that a reality, it could put structure to your creative vision. All month long, the planet of anger and action, Mars, is sitting in your third house. So watch out for arguments, disagreements with your siblings, with your neighbors, within your community. You're going to be more ambitious, going out more within your town, trips to the store, checking out some restaurants within your community. This could also mean that you are initiating learning something new, studying something. There may be issues with electronics, your cell phone. February 10th, Venus will move into your fourth house of home and family, wanting to beautify your home, redecorate, or spend some enjoyable time with your family. That's what will bring you a lot of joy and fulfillment in February. February 17th, we have a new moon solar eclipse, 28 degrees of Aquarius. This for you is your third house of self-effort, siblings, and neighborhood. If you have personal planets from 25 to 30 degrees of Aquarius or Leo, or even the very early degrees, 0 to 5 degrees of Virgo or Pisces, then you could be more affected with this eclipse, as it could also be affecting a different area, a different theme in your life. Look back to February of 2008. That whole period of 2008, 2009, even 2017, 2018, the themes that are coming up with these eclipses were playing out back then. So if you look back, you can maybe see what could be coming up for you over the next year. A new beginning in your third house can mean that there's new beginnings in the life of your siblings. You are learning something new. You may be getting a new computer, a new cell phone, getting on social media, on some dating apps, really connecting with people, especially through social media, in your community, getting out more. Your daily routine, your daily commute, even your community, who lives around you, your neighbors, businesses, shops, stores that you used to visit can completely change. New ones can open up. Your surroundings can change, as well as your daily routine, your mindset, your relationship with your siblings, your relatives, the people who live by you can also undergo a big change. and this can happen over the next 6 months. February 26th, Mercury will station retrograde at 22 degrees of Pisces. The whole Mercury retrograde period is from February 26th to March 20th. It's a time to review, revise plans, relationships, friendships. Make sure you back up all your data. This can be a time where there's issues with cars, travel, electronics. Every single Mercury retrograde this year is in a water sign. So we could be a lot more emotional, reevaluating more emotional topics, more emotional situations. Friends, exes from our past can be contacting us. It could be a time we're really thinking about how we feel about everything. For you, this is happening in your 4th house of home, family, vehicles, mother, your family life, and you could really be reevaluating the place that you live at, maybe wanting to move. There could be issues with a car, issues at home that pop up, maybe renovations for some of you. Things break down that need to be repaired, or you are just reevaluating your living situation, where you live, how you live. There could be issues with family, with the mother, things that you need to review, revise. Mercury also rules your 7th house of relationships, business partners, and your 10th house of career and public image. So you could also be reevaluating your career, your work hours, and reevaluating your personal relationships. If you've started dating somebody new, you could really be thinking if you want to move forward or if you don't. Exes, people from the past can come back into your life, contact you. You could be reminiscing about old friends, old partners. An old business partner maybe can come back into your life. So all these things are up for review. A lot of things could be revealed to you were unaware of, especially when it comes to your home, your family members, your relationships, and things at work as well. The big focus is on your skill sets, your communication, getting out of your house, really exploring your community, rethinking your living environment, and of course, either children, creative hobbies, or a new romantic relationship. February, March, and April can really usher in a lot of change into all of our lives, so we can be experiencing more anxiety within ourselves. I hope this was helpful for you, Sagittarius. Capricorn, Sun, Moon, or Rising, February 1st, we have a full moon in Leo, your 8th house of transformation, shared resources. A full moon is either a celebration or an ending to something. It's reached the peak. For some of you, this can even be a literal loss, or maybe some of you, a loss of income. Money that comes to you from other sources could be ending at this time. An end to a contract, an agreement, maybe even parting ways with an accountant, a therapist. For others of you, this could be a time when you really are interested in mystical subjects, occult studies, occult knowledge. This can also mean that you achieved a financial goal, especially a joint goal with a business partner, a spouse. Maybe your partner starts bringing in more money, some investment that you invested in pays off, works out. But a lot of times when we have a full moon in the 8th house, a lot of past issues come up to be dealt with, past hurts, past relationship drama, secrets can come out. Things come to the surface that a lot of times we don't really want to look at. So the first 2 weeks of February, you could be feeling more emotional, like things from the past need to be resolved in some way. February 4th, Uranus will go direct at 27 degrees of Taurus. If you have personal planets from 26 to 30 degrees of Taurus, Scorpio, Leo, or Aquarius, new things could unfold in your life over the next 2 months in an unpredictable way. Huge shifts and changes within your love life, your creative projects, in the lives of your children. This could mean a new romantic relationship comes into your life, a new creative project is born. Pregnancy, your children acting up a little bit out of the blue. New developments in the lives of your children. Mars, the planet of anger and action, is hanging out in your 2nd house all month long. So you're going to be spending a lot of money, shopping. Watch out for overspending. This can also make you more argumentative with family members. And you're going to be highly focused on making money, maybe even initiating a new way of making money. February 1st until the 10th, when you have Venus in your second house, is a great time for shopping. You can get something you really enjoy, love for a long time to come. Venus, the planet of love and beauty, will shift into your third house after February 10th. So what's going to bring you a lot of joy and fulfillment this month is really connecting to your siblings, your neighbors, people online, joining gossip, online shopping, learning something new, studying something new, and hanging out within your community, going to some shops, restaurants, just really getting out of the house. It's going to bring you a lot of fulfillment in the month of February. February 13th, Saturn will enter your fourth house of home, family, mother, vehicles. This is the area of life you're going to be putting in a lot of work. Whenever Saturn transits a house, it gets rid of anything that does not stand the test of time, anything that isn't working properly. Issues with your vehicle, your home can come up right now so that you can maybe fix things, buy a new vehicle. There can be issues with a family, with your mother that comes up. The fourth house is our security, what it is that we need to feel secure in our environment. And right now, things that are not working need to go. Some of you might feel like you want to move, but maybe you can't. You might feel restricted in some way, restricted within your home, with your family members. This is a 2.5-year transit. Those of you right now who have planets from about 0 to 5 degrees of Aries, Libra, Cancer, Capricorn, you're a very early degree Capricorn rising, you can feel these things unfolding in your life right now. On February 20th, Neptune and Saturn conjunct exactly at 0 degrees of Aries, initiating a new beginning with your home, your place of living. This is the area you're putting in a lot of work, and you're also fixing connections, family connections, bringing art, creativity, spirituality into your living environment, maybe wanting to live by the water. When it's happening in your fourth house, watch out for leaks in your home, even leaks in your vehicle. That can happen as Neptune is transiting your fourth house. It's a 14-year transit. You will feel it mostly when it makes contact with a personal planet. But over the next 14 years, it's rewiring the way that you feel safe in your environment. So you're going to want to redecorate, move stuff around, and just make your home this cozy, artsy, creative environment. February 17th, we have a new moon solar eclipse right there at the end of Aquarius, 28 degrees. If you have personal planets from 25 to 30 degrees of Aquarius, Leo, or even the very early degrees from 0 to 5 degrees of Virgo or Pisces, you will feel this eclipse on a more intense level. It could be affecting another area of your life. If it's moon, it's home, family, mother. Venus, it's your aesthetics, your love life could be changing, as well as your money. Depending on what planet this eclipse is affecting, it could play out in many different ways for you personally. Look back to February of 2008, that whole period of 2008 and 2009, even 2017, 2018. The same themes that were playing out back then are coming back now. So you can look back and kind of gaze at what was happening during that time. This is family, possessions, money, the money that you make. It could be a new job for some of you, a new way of making money, a side hustle, a business, buying possessions that you have always wanted, more resources, more possessions. Watch out for issues with your teeth. Family connections could be changing. Big themes when it comes to self-esteem, self-worth can come up now. Mars is sitting with this eclipse. Pluto is in Aquarius, intensifying all these eclipses. And Uranus from your fifth house is squaring this eclipse. So it could come from an argument, frustration about your money, about your situation, possessions, or even a big creative idea. A friend comes to you with an idea, or somehow you come up with a new idea, and you're going to be led to this new job, new money-making venture. As with all eclipses, things can happen in a chaotic, erratic way, so try not to make any rash decisions 2 weeks before to 2 weeks after this eclipse. For some of you, it may be that you leave a job, you get let go of a job, and that's how this new thing starts. The full moon that we are having in the beginning of the month is in your 8th house of other people's money, which is joint finances, resources coming from other people. And this solar eclipse is a new beginning in your self-worth, your self-esteem, you initiating self-sufficiency, not needing other people to get what it is that you want. The ruler of this solar eclipse is Saturn, sitting in your 4th house, meeting up with Neptune. So it is a creative idea that you can even come up with at home with family members, starting a business in your home. And this can all play out within the next 6 months. February 26th, Mercury will station retrograde at 22 degrees of Pisces. The whole Mercury retrograde period will be from February 26th to March 20th. Review all our friendships, our relationships. So back up your data. This can cause issues with travel, with communication, with electronics. Every single Mercury retrograde that we are going to have this year is in a water sign. So it's going to bring up a lot more feelings, a lot more emotions with all of us. For you, this is happening in your 3rd house, and you could be reevaluating the relationship you have with your siblings, your neighbors, your whole community, your day-to-day lifestyle, your online connections, what it is that you're studying, but most importantly, you are reevaluating your day-to-day life, maybe wanting to switch up your schedule. Electronics might break down. You might need to repurchase a new computer, a new cell phone. Watch out for issues and problems with traveling with your vehicle. You may learn something you are unaware of from a sibling, from a close friend. This can also mean that people from the past come back into your life. Old friends, exes could be contacting you. A lot of times this can happen when Mercury is retrograde. We are reminiscing, going over things, analyzing everything in our head. February, March, and April are going to bring in a ton of change to all of us. And for you, a lot of new beginnings are happening when it comes to money, making money, buying possessions. You're going to start reflecting on your home, family, your place of living. And for a lot of you, there could be new beginnings when it comes to love, romance, as Uranus is turning direct in your 5th house. I hope that this was helpful for you, Capricorn. Aquarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising. February starts out with a full moon in Leo. This is your 7th house of romantic relationships, business partners. Some of you might be taking a relationship to the next level, engagement, marriage, celebrating reaching a financial goal with a business partner or your spouse, your significant other. Overcoming some challenges that you have with a frenemy, with an opponent of yours. Now, also, some of you might be releasing a relationship or maybe a business partnership, dissolving a contract, dissolving an agreement, or even parting ways with certain clients that you have worked with. So it could either be a big celebration around this area where things are coming to fruition, or it could be an ending. Mars will be opposing this full moon. So there may be some arguments, disagreements with a partner, a business partner, or things can get heated. The first 2 weeks of February, you're going to be really focused on relationships, your partnerships, your contracts, your clients. February 4th, Uranus will turn direct at 27 degrees of Taurus. If you have personal planets from 26 to 30 degrees of Taurus, Scorpio, Leo, or Aquarius, major unpredictable changes can be happening in your life over the next 3 months. As Uranus is going direct in your 4th house, this can mean some changes within the family, within the home, moving, redecorating, a new pet. Mars, the planet of anger and action, is in your 1st house all month long, giving you more energy, stamina, motivating you to start or initiate something new. Just be watchful that you may be a little bit more argumentative with people, especially with your spouse, your partner. The people around you could just make you more irritated, more frustrated. February 13th, Saturn will enter Aries. The last time Saturn was in the sign of Aries was December 1996 to February of 1999. This is where you're going to put in a lot of work and discipline over the next 2.5 years, focusing on communication, learning, interacting with people online, within the community. There might be challenges in relationships with siblings, with neighbors. And for some of you, you might be working on mastering another skill. As Saturn transits your third house, you may be a little bit more prone to more pessimism, negative thinking. So you got to be watchful of that. On February 20th, Saturn and Neptune conjunct at exactly 0 degrees of Aries, sparking a brand new beginning in your third house area. Maybe starting a community of your own, a website of your own, teaching spiritual knowledge to other people. Photography, painting, beauty, all of that can happen because Neptune is the planet of idealism, spirituality, glamour. Third house is self-effort, community. It is social media. It's our tangible skill set. You might miss appointments, not want to stay on schedule, as Neptune can put us in a trance. But Neptune going through your third house can bring up a lot of creative ideas, and you can put those ideas into reality while Saturn is transiting your third house. And with Neptune, you do have to always watch out for deception, having rose-colored glasses on in the area of life where Neptune is transiting. These are longer transits, but especially with Neptune, you're going to notice it most when it makes contact with a personal planet. And those of you who have personal planets from 0 to 5 degrees of Aries, Libra, Cancer, Capricorn can already be feeling that something is shifting in their lives through Saturn and Neptune. February 17th, we have a new moon solar eclipse right at the end of Aquarius, 28 degrees. If you have personal planets from 25 to 30 degrees of Aquarius or Leo, or even the very early degrees from 0 to 5 of Pisces or Virgo, you can feel this eclipse more intensely. If it's moon, home, family could be changing. If it's Venus, it's your relationships, your style, your aesthetic, your money. If it's Sun, it could also be your aesthetic, your style, but very much your health and career aspirations as well. So if you are born from about February 13th to February 22nd, there is definitely a change of identity, a big life event unfolding. Look back to February of 2008, that whole period of 2008, 2009. The same themes will be playing out now. This is happening in your first house, your look, your identity, your body, your health. Mars is there sitting with this eclipse. So out of anger, frustration, you can maybe start and initiate a change. Pluto is in Aquarius, so it's intensifying this big transformation. And there is a square from Uranus to this eclipse, which means maybe through family, through your home, place of living, something completely unexpected happens and you go for this change. Maybe some of you changing where you work, your whole life path, where you live, your relationships. Usually all big things happen with eclipses: a marriage, a divorce, a pregnancy. Your health, your routine is changing. Some of you are already sensing these changes. This can also unfold over the next 6 months. This is a new identity, a new look, a new hairstyle, a new wardrobe. You may be inspired to change your aesthetic, change your surroundings, impulsively change your hair, your whole look, fall in love, attract a new partner into your life. This may come unexpectedly. A lot of times with eclipses, things happen unexpectedly or through chaos. You are introduced to something you were unaware of, you weren't seeing before, and now you want to try something new. You are basically coming out of your shell. The attention is on you, and you're noticing that you're going in a different direction, so you want your exterior to resemble that. February 26th, Mercury will station retrograde at 22 degrees of Pisces. The whole Mercury retrograde period is from February 26th until March 20th. It's a time to review and revise our work, our plans, review and analyze all of your relationships, your friendships, and back up all your data. There can be problems with electronics, with travel, with communication in general. So this might bring on a lot of miscommunication. All 3 Mercury retrogrades in 2026 are in water signs. So there's a lot of emotion coming up within us. We may be reminiscing about people from the past. It can be a time where exes reach out or you talk to people you haven't seen in a while. And for you, this Mercury retrograde cycle is happening in the 2nd house. So it's a time to review all your bills, money, your possessions. Old financial issues from the past may come back. There can be payment delays, misunderstanding in communication. The 2nd house is your speech. You may even be questioning value, self-worth. This can also be a time where you need to redo some dental work. Look into your automatic payments, things like that, because you can be reevaluating what it is that is truly valuable to you right now. Mercury also rules your 5th and 8th house. So you could also be reevaluating spending money on your children's needs, on your creative hobbies, turning a creative hobby into a profitable business. And also the 8th house, your joint finances with a spouse or partner. Joint responsibilities that you share with somebody else. You can really be reevaluating if it's fair or not, who puts in more work. All of that is coming up for review at this time. So try not to make any big financial decisions or start anything important until Mercury goes direct. February, March, April are bringing in huge changes. In March, you're going to have a lunar eclipse in your 8th house. Mercury will go direct in your 2nd house and a new moon in your 2nd house. The themes of money, possessions, joint responsibilities will be playing out over the next 2 months. I hope that this was helpful, Aquarius. Pisces, Sun, Moon, and Rising. February 1st, we have a full moon at 13 degrees of Leo landing in your 6th house of health, work, routine. Some of you might have reached a health or wellness goal right now and you are celebrating, you're feeling good. Others of you are releasing a bad habit, a negative habit. Those of you who own a business, it's a time one of your employees leaves or something is changing within your business. A colleague from work could also leave. There could be changes within the workplace. Or some of you are just contemplating big lifestyle changes. Health, organization, and your work or business will take precedence the first 2 weeks of February. February 4th, Uranus will turn direct at 27 degrees of Taurus. If you have personal planets from 26 to 30 degrees of Taurus, Scorpio, Leo, or Aquarius, you can start to have some unpredictable changes unfolding in your life over the next 2 months. Uranus turning direct in your 3rd house means you could be taking the initiative to get on social media, promote yourself in a new way. Your community could be changing, or maybe you are just completely changing up your routine. And that is very much in line with that full moon in your 6th house. You're taking better care of yourself. You're really thinking about how you can change your routine to be more productive, to live a healthier lifestyle. Mars, the planet of anger and action, is in your 12th house all of February. This may be a month where you're having vivid dreams, having a hard time falling asleep, maybe even nightmares, some of you. You may sense some jealousy, gossip coming from others. This can also be a time when the past comes back into your life. Something from the past shows up that you are dealing with, and maybe even just in your head analyzing situations that have happened in the past. The first 10 days of February with Venus and Mars in your 12th house, it could be that you are on a vacation, retreating away from the world, spending money on yourself, pampering yourself. You may feel like you have less energy. You want to spend more time alone in the month of February. February 10th, when Venus goes into your 1st house, what's going to bring you a lot of joy in the month of February is focusing on yourself, your looks, your health, your mental health. February 17th, we have a new moon solar eclipse at 28 degrees of Aquarius. If you have personal planets from 25 to 30 degrees of Aquarius or Leo, even planets in Virgo and Pisces that are between 0 to 3, 0 to 5 degrees can feel this eclipse. If you have a personal planet within these degrees, then a lot of other things could be changing in your life. If it's Venus, it's aesthetics, your style, your relationships, your money. If it's Moon, it's your family, your place of living. Look back to February of 2008, that whole period of 2008, 2009, even 2017, 2018. The same themes from back then are going to start popping up in your life right now. We have Pluto sitting in Aquarius, intensifying this eclipse. Mars is also sitting with the eclipse, so a lot of frustrations could be coming to the surface. Something may want to push you to change your ways. Uranus is also squaring this eclipse, so it also brings a lot of unpredictability, things happening out of the blue, unfolding out of the blue in ways that you didn't even imagine. Maybe you are introduced to people, brand new ideas, your hidden talents come up to the surface, different ways of doing things that help you change, help you initiate this new beginning. And this new beginning may be unfolding over the next year. In your 12th house, the house of your mental health, your subconscious mind, you are making the subconscious conscious. All the stuff that's been hidden inside of you is coming out, and you could discover a new skill set, a new way to make money, new ways to get rid of negative thinking, negative habits, negative patterns. You may let go of obsessions, addictions, overthinking, overanalyzing. You're finding new ways to deal with fear, anxiety, new meditation, a new spiritual practice, or a new hobby that you like to enjoy all by yourself. Making yourself the priority. On a negative, secrets can come to light. You can find out something you are unaware of, and maybe even cut off some people that were in your inner circle. Or maybe even getting rid of certain possessions, getting rid of automatic payments, bills, donating your time, energy into a cause, a charity. For those of you who are very early degree Pisces rising, anywhere from 0 to 5 degrees, you may feel this in a completely different way. You may feel like you are coming out of your shell, you're changing up your look, your style, a new direction in your life. And it may be more about relationship dynamics and you changing up how you look, your style, how you relate to the world. The ruler of this solar eclipse, Saturn, just moved into your second house, where on the 20th, it is meeting up with Neptune exactly at 0 degrees of Aries, suggesting a new beginning in the second house area. And when Saturn is in the second house, we are really working on our self-worth, self-esteem, really define what it is that you find valuable. And that even includes family relationships, close friendships. A lot of times when Saturn is transiting the second house, we are maybe separating from the family. Some of you might be going through a separation, a divorce, and becoming more self-sufficient, making a big move. Your money is changing. So that whole area is where you're putting in a lot of work over the next 2.5 years. The last time that Saturn was in the sign of Aries was December 1996 until February of 1999. You are redefining what it is that you find valuable, things that can stand the test of time. You might even part ways with certain possessions, certain close friends or family members. You might even need to get some dental work done. Now, with Neptune coming in there, you could be inspired to take creative action and start a business, start a creative venture and turn it into a business. Saturn can help solidify that. This can mean a change of employment, making money through spirituality, making money through art, through glamour, through close bonds, through your surroundings, through your possessions, through what it is that you find valuable, you're going to be able to connect to a higher source over the next 14 years. This is a very long transit for Neptune. You will mostly feel it when it makes contact with a personal planet. And those of you who have personal planets from 0 to 5 degrees of Aries, Libra, Cancer, Capricorn can already be feeling this shift right now. With Neptune, you always have to watch out for theft, deception, self-delusion, not seeing the reality clearly, especially when it comes to your money, shared responsibilities, family dynamics, your worth, your value, not to rip people off or having people rip you off. So you have to be very careful when it comes to your finances. February 26th, Mercury will station retrograde at 22 degrees of Pisces. Mercury will be in retrograde from February 26th to March 20th. This is all about reviewing, revising your work, your plans, reviewing all your friendships, your relationships. It's a good idea to back up all data. There can be problems with electronics, problems with travel. Every single Mercury retrograde in 2026 is in a water sign. So a lot of emotions are going to be coming up within us. We can even be reminiscing about friends, people from the past. Exes from the past may come back into our lives, contact us. For you Pisces, it's happening in the first house. It's your health, your identity, and you could be really revising, rethinking your health routine. You could also be rethinking your wardrobe, your aesthetic, your hairstyle. This is where the North Node is. This is where we have been having the eclipses. So a lot of you are contemplating big life changes about your place in this world, your future direction. Watch out for miscommunication, especially when it deals with your partner or spouse, your clients, your business partners. And for some of you, this is exactly what you are contemplating, is the other half. That is where we are having a lunar eclipse next month in March. Some of you might be leaving relationships, starting new relationships, or there's just some disagreements or things you are working out with a partner or spouse. For you, Mercury rules the 4th house of home and family and the 7th house of relationships. So some of you might be reviewing business contracts, client contracts. You might become aware of something you were unaware of when it comes to your spouse or partner, your home, where you live, your living situation. And because the ruler of your 7th house is going into the first and retrograding, a lot of you could have exes, ex-partners come back into your life, reach out to you in some way. February, March, and April are ushering a lot of change into all of our lives. This month, Pisces, you are really focused on your health, your mental health. Next month, we also have a full moon lunar eclipse in your 7th house of relationships. Mercury will go direct in your 1st house. We also have a new moon, new beginning in your 1st house. Mars is in your 1st house, so there could be a lot of arguments, disagreements. Over the next few months, you will notice that there is a lot of new developments in your relationship area as well as with you, where you're going in this life. I hope that this was helpful for you, Pisces.